bow with me. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to come here tonight and meet and represent this wonderful city, Florence, Alabama. We thank you for this opportunity, and we pray that we have calm minds and peaceful words tonight and make decisions that reflect your peace and your plans for our city. We pray these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Martin, if you'll call the roll, please.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Here.
Councilmember Griffin.
Here.
Councilmember Eubanks.
Present.
Councilmember Edwards.
Here.
Councilmember Oliver.
Here.
Council President Simmons.
Here.
Madam President, we have all 6 council members in attendance, and therefore a quorum is present.
Thank you. At this time, can we get the approval of the agenda? Okay. Motion by Mr. Griffin,
Second.
second by Mr. Hendricks. All in favor?
6-0, motion carries.
Next, we'll have a message from the mayor.
Good evening. First thing I want to do is, this is the second time we've had senators from the SGA at UNA, and we certainly welcome them and have had several conversations with their leadership. Second thing I'd like to do, and let me be sure I can read this, my little screen here. Tonight, well, actually next week, we have the honor of honoring our own Katrina Simmons, who's being honored by the United Way with the Clyde W. Anderson Award for Philanthropic Leadership. So I'd like to give her a hand this evening. And I have 2 proclamations this evening. One, over the last several weeks, we lost a good friend of mine and a good friend to this community in many, many ways. Certainly had the knowledge of the history and the archaeology of our community, and many would say he was the city archaeologist. I knew him well from my church. I knew him well for his involvement in the community, and I knew him well from the kindness that he showed me on many, many occasions. So I'd like to ask Bernice and her daughter to come forward, and I'd like to recognize Mr. Charles Enlow Moore. In recognition and tribute to Charles Enlow Moore, whereas the city of Florence, Alabama wishes to recognize and pay tribute to one of its most distinguished citizens, Charles Enlow Moore, who died July the 9th, 2024 at the age of 93. His death has brought great sorrow to our city, and whereas Mr. Moore was born and reared in Florence, Alabama, he graduated from Coffee High School and then furthered his education at Florence State College, now the University of North Alabama, and at Auburn University. And whereas he spent most of his career as an investment broker, branch manager, and vice president of A.G. Edwards & Sons, and whereas while serving on the Florence Historical Board, he acted as project officer for the Florence Indian Mound Museum for 23 years. Aside from becoming an author, he was also appointed city archaeologist and received numerous awards for his Native American artifact and relic collections. And whereas Mr. Moore was honored by the Archaeologist Society individually and jointly with his late wife Mary Eliza in 1980, he also was named Citizen of the Year by the Shoals Chamber of Commerce in 2004. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Andrew Betterton, Mayor of the City of Florence, Alabama, and on behalf of the City Council do hereby remember and pay tribute to Charles Enlow Moore and further express to his family our deepest and most sincere sympathy. Here. Well, I was going to offer you an opportunity to speak. I'm sure we could reminisce a lot about Mr. Moore. Always had a smile on his face and certainly greeted everyone. He was a real gentleman. Now, I would like to call on Holly Sheridan and others to come up. And I have a proclamation on Suicide Prevention Month. Proclamation. Whereas in 2022, suicide was the 11th leading cause of death in the United States and is currently the 13th leading cause of death in Alabama. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 10 and 44. And whereas in the United States in 2022, there were an average of 135 suicides per day, resulting in over 49,000 suicides per the Centers for Disease Control. Suicide rates increased approximately 36% in the United States from 2000 to 2022. Whereas for every suicide death in 2022, it is estimated that there were 11 emergency department visits for self-harm, 52 self-reported suicide attempts in the past year, and 336 people who seriously considered suicide in the past year. And whereas over 90% of the people who die by suicide have a diagnosable and treatable mental health condition, although often that condition is not recognized or treated. And whereas the stigma associated with mental health conditions and suicidality works against suicide prevention by discouraging persons at risk for suicide from seeking life-saving help, and further traumatizes survivors of suicide loss and people with lived experience of suicide. And whereas everyone has a role to play in preventing suicides and can learn suicide risk and warning signs and encourage those who struggle to seek help. Now therefore, I, Mayor Andy Betterton, on behalf of the City of Florence and its citizens, in support of this endeavor, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2024 National Suicide Prevention Month.
My name is Hope Buckley, and I'm a resident of Florence, and on behalf of AFSP and our chapter in Alabama, we just want to thank you for your support and recognition of this month. And further, we have our community-wide walk on October 27th at 2 o'clock over at Florence High School. And it's a Shoals-wide community walk, so even though it's centered in Florence, it really is to bring all of the different communities together here in the Shoals to come together as a community and support one another, and helps also reduce the stigma of suicide. So thank you so much for your support, and I'll have buttons that you guys can have and pass down. So thank you, and we hope to see you there.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have any department head reports? Any standing committees?
I have one, President. The Utilities Committee met on the 13th. Those in attendance were Mary McDuff, Alan Cadell, Jackie Hendricks, Michelle Eubanks, Mayor Betterton, and myself. And the purpose, of the meeting was to update on requests that would be on the agenda and upcoming agendas. Discussion over the repaving of the parking lot, the warehouse, entering into agreement with Sunbelt Solomon Services to provide field service maintenance for transformers. Excuse me. and for entering the roof with Shoals Engineering at a bit later time. After this was discussed, there was no further discussion, meeting adjourned, Reverend Russell.
Thank you, Councilman Edwards. At this time, do we have any business pertaining to the consent? Well, we don't have any public hearings. So at this time, do we have any business pertaining to the consent or the regular agenda? And you will have a 5-minute time limit. We will start to my left. Anybody on my left that'd like to get up and speak if you have any comments pertaining to the regular or the consent agenda? In the middle?
Thank you, President Simmons. To the council, Bill Ray Simpson, 755 West Alabama Street. I want to speak briefly on consent agenda X. Resolution expressing the city council's full support for the West College Street extension and bridge project described in letter from Mayor Betterton. Y'all can read the rest of that. But for 20 years, we've been waiting on this as West Florence black folks. Minorities has been waiting on that for 20 years. Mr. Betterton, as long as you got that position, you keep fighting. Ms. Simmons, you keep fighting, because I don't trust the rest of them. They'll try everything they can, every excuse they can come up with to try to block progress, like they always have done, because of this racist community. So thank you for putting it in writing. Now you're gonna have to fight to get it done. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Simpson. Anyone else in the middle? To my right?
Yeah, I'm Michael White, Florence, Alabama. Anyway, for proof, you can get here from just north of Oak Hill subdivision in 5 minutes, because I did it. I was watching the work session. I'm here to talk about 12A on the regular agenda item. To start out with, I would like to thank Ms. Edwards, or Ms. Eubanks, I'm sorry, for her, forgive me, I don't know why I can't public speak today, for her diligence and her hard work. Anyone who, number one, Eugene Sack bought a pig and a buck. He bought a white elephant. He's trying to get y'all to bail him out on it. Drive down there and look at the thing. There is no parking. Where are these people gonna park that are gonna stay in that hotel? The building next to it right now takes up everything. Even if you bought King out, you still wouldn't have enough for a, 4-story, 5-story hotel building. It's just, it needs to be torn down, is what it needs to be. And that's probably what's gonna happen. Somebody on social media brought up that, you know, what is actually in writing from Hard Rock. I've seen all the people at work sessions come here, you know, and that they're even gonna do this. They didn't in Kalamazoo, Michigan. You know, and I don't even really know Eugene Sack. I know his reputation. I drove through Hearn Trailer Park. That is the worst mess I have ever seen in my life. And I come from a real estate family. We own rental property. You don't let places get in shapes like that. That should be condemned. The whole place should be condemned. Why isn't it? You have no problem condemning properties all around town where people are trying to fix them up. There was one on the last condemned list. I think the guy was on Chisholm Road and he just put a new roof on his house. But yet he was on the condemned list. Look, there's something funny about this. There's a story of the old woman who took in the snake. You know, he said you knew I was a snake all along. All you gotta do is drive through Hearn Trailer Park. You'll see Eugene Sack is that snake. Now, I may get sued, but I'm telling you, something is funny about this. And our tax money does not be, even though there's, it's not gonna hurt a thing, we're covered, everything is fine. Well, look for the snake. There's a snake in here somewhere. All I got to say, thank you.
Anyone else to my right have anything to say concerning the consent of the regular agenda? If not, Mr. Lady, you can go ahead and read.
All matters listed within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Florence City Council for reading and study, are considered to be routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the council with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request.
Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Edwards, second by Mr. Griffin. All in favor of the motion?
6-0, motion carries. Item A under the regular agenda is an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution and delivery of a project development agreement with FOF QZOB 1 LLC, sponsored by Mayor Betterton and Council President Simmons.
Do I hear a motion for immediate consideration?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Oliver. All in favor of the motion?
6-0.
Do I hear a motion for the adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hendricks, second by Mr. Griffin. Any discussion? Not all in favor of the motion?
5 votes for,
What else? Any abstention?
Nope, I'm
one opposed.
Okay.
5 votes for, 1 opposed, motion carries. That's all I have, Ms. Simmons.
Okay, we have one, board, general business. Did we miss something? Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. We don't have any general business at this time, so, our board appointments, we have one for the tree commission, Ms. Inga Harden, and she'll be on the next agenda in the next 2 weeks. At this time, we'll have business from the public with a 5-minute time limit. This time, we'll start to my right, anyone who wants to speak.
Hello, my name's David Carson. I live in Florence. So yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of freestyle this. I'm not sure where to start. The agenda was not on time. As far as dealing with stuff with transparency, the agenda wasn't posted till sometime today, I think. It'd be nice to have at least 24 hours so the public can take a good gander at the agenda before the council votes on items. In regards to like Camille Bennett and during the work session, Project Say Something and Marker and all that stuff, man, this looks like a train wreck. I mean, it's like you vote on it, then you're like, okay, I'll push for a revote, but then then the president's like, I don't know if we can do a revote. And then Bennett's up here, she's just like, well, I'm the people. I'm the people too. She does not representation of 100% of the population. So just wanted to throw that out there. So, you know, I saw these cats out here, these young people protesting here, and it kind of threw all my other thoughts out the window. I generally do just focus on local issues and stuff, but I actually support these folks. I know they're liberals. They're protesting the war in Israel and Palestine. they're doing it through like a white savior lens, you know, kind of a thing. I'm more, I guess, right wing and stuff. I just don't like how Israel has completely infiltrated our government, and while we always have to fight their wars for them, they are blowing Palestinian children to bits, and we aren't paying for it. I think, you know, just throwing it out there. And that's a very unpopular thing to say around here. There's a lot of Christians that support it because Israel's in the Bible and stuff. I just wanted to throw it out there. The people in Israel, they're not Christian. They're not Christian. And Christians that are supporting this should really take a closer look at that. And Israel does control way too much in our government. You know, I mean, we'll help build their wall. We'll give money to them for their wall and their ethno-state, and not build a wall just so we can have some control over immigration. So I just say to the young people out there, it's good to see it. Make some noise. Make some noise. It's BS. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else to my right?
Yeah, Michael White, 4704 Chisholm Road, Florence, Alabama. Yeah, I'm kind of like, I never miss the work session, see it online, or I never miss a meeting, see it online. But I was gonna sit home and watch a work session. It clicked on, and here was Camille Bennett up here, and I thought, well, why is she talking in the work session? She's not on the agenda. And so I started texting frantically with David, and he let me know that Katrina had, Ms. Simmons had allowed her to address the council at the work session, which I guess you can do, but I thought you had to have something on the agenda that was being voted on to do that. I'm not against her cause. I agree with Jimmy Oliver, believe it or not, on the wording of that plaque. It's ridiculous. Not all citizens in Florence agree with that. If you wanted to include, you know, there was slavery involved and something like that, that's well and good. But to come up here and stamp your feet and huff and puff and blow your house down, which is what she came off as doing, and I don't care, she can meet me in the parking lot if she wants to, I know she's tough. But, you know, that's kind of how she was, you know, or rent a billboard and put it up. It's just gotten ridiculous. It's absolutely gotten ridiculous. If we're gonna have revotes, let me go way back and do some revoting I'd like to have done, see if I can get 30 minutes to talk about it. Let's think about this 9.5% sales tax. We're the highest in North Alabama. How about let's not have that quite so high? Let's lessen that sales tax. Let's sell off that new $12.65 million parking deck at $46,000 per parking space. Let a private company buy it and give us that money back, and let's use it on infrastructure. Let's replace some sewer lines and some drainage pipe and some underground utilities, so when it comes a big storm like it did over the weekend, a lot of people's utilities don't go out. Let's do a lot that we've got a parking deck right now. Let's repair that. You know, if you're going to have revotes on stuff, let's do a lot of revotes. Will you give me 30 minutes to talk about it before each council meeting? I can take them up till now to, you know, 2025 if you want to. Because there's a lot of revotes that I think need to happen. But they didn't. They didn't go my way. I'm a citizen of Florence. I've got a lot of friends that are citizens of Florence. But they didn't go my way, but I can't sit up here every meeting and stomp my feet and spew and say I didn't get my way, and I demand you give me 30 minutes to talk about it in the work session. That's what it's became. This is getting kind of out of hand. It's getting kind of ridiculous. As I said, I admire Jimmy Oliver and Blake Edwards for sticking to their guns. You got your picture on the billboard. It's a good likeness, so, you know, take it as a badge of honor. But it's just ridiculous to allow somebody to come up here and do that. Another thing that was mentioned, and I didn't quite get it because I was frantically texting on my phone back and forth. I didn't even see it on the agenda, but somebody came up, he was the young man that's over the IT department. I can't think of his name right now. He had a little exchange with Michelle Eubanks at the last meeting. But anyway, he had mentioned something that they're doing a different setup, I think on the city website. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the work session again to see if that included something about an electronic bulletin board, letting citizens know when meetings are gonna be held. At Ms. Simmons' community meeting she had points up on the screen. And one of them said, obtain a schedule of meetings to be held. And I'd like to know how you're supposed to obtain that. You can go down to the city's clerk's office and take a pen and paper with you and write them off, or you can look at David Carson's open meeting Facebook group, because he goes down once a month and does that, and posts them for all those citizens to see. But other than that, how are you supposed to know about meetings? He's advocated for electronic bulletin board to be put on the city website, I know, for 6 months, but nothing's been done about it. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention too.
Your 5 minutes or so.
Okay, it's great talking to you, and y'all have a good day. Thank you.
Anyone else to my right?
Hello, I'm Janice Collette. Me and Nick Coring, we're owners of Lauderdale Lanes. About a month ago, we turned in an application for opening the lounge again at the bowling center. And I just found out yesterday that there's a city ordinance that any bowling center in the city can only sell beer and wine. We are wanting to be able for someone to come in and get a drink and take it out in the bowling area. I am asking that this ordinance be changed, and the reason I say this is because I have bowled in a lot of different bowling centers around the state. Nick has bowled out of state and in state. There's not one that a person cannot go in, get a drink, and take it out to the bowling area. We have security every Friday and Saturday night. All of our employees are very well trained and responsible vendor, and we would just appreciate any consideration y'all can give this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else to my right? How about in the middle?
Thank you again, Ms. Simmons, Bill Ray Simpson, Florence, Alabama. I never thought I would agree with David on anything. But he got up here and said exactly what was on our heart. At least 16,500 children murdered. It don't make no difference who does the murdering. It's wrong. I don't care who started the murder. Who is still murdering 16,500 people? Women and children. If that don't hit you upside the head, you're dead. Now, let's speak on another topic, because racism is one of our biggest problems in America. A lot of white folks don't want to hear it in Alabama. But look at all the black folks that were killed in slavery and after slavery that nobody wants to talk about. Everybody wants to forget that we have murderers that's getting away with it still in America. Now, using democracy and capitalism to keep us oppressed and keep us incarcerated, keep us broke, busted, and can't be discussed. Yeah, I'm looking at you. You You talk about democracy, but you're evil. You don't want equal rights, justice. Look at the statue down in front of the courthouse. You don't want to change nothing. You want to continue being charged. And you're tired of seeing black folks get in positions of authority. And that's why you don't want them here. Look around you, Miss Simmons. Look on the side of you. Look out in the audience. Look at department heads. They refuse to promote blacks. We had a black chief of police. They run him off. Redneck. Racism is right here. That's why a black man would never be mayor in Florence. That's why we will never have a black governor in Alabama. And you didn't help to get the first black person elected. You voted against him. I'm glad we wasn't counting on you. Racism. 20 years to get something to go down Mobile Street. Why? They believe you're a token council member that made to be president, but they're not gonna let you have the same authority that Mr. Jordan had. They're gonna try to cut you off every chance they get. They're gonna let you conduct the meetings, but they're not gonna let you have the power. Okay? Number one. Number two, bullying in our schools, in our community. People that hate people just because they're a different color. People that hate folks in our community, just like we heard on national TV, I hate her.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Why? And you gonna call yourself a Christian, and Christians gonna follow after hate? That's a lie. And the last thing I'm gonna talk about is animal cruelty and animal abuse. Now, this is prophetic. I want you to listen real closely to what I say. Humans need to stop sleeping with animals. Sick animals, assuredly. We have that spirit in Florence and in this nation. Humans sleeping with animals, cats and dogs, kissing cats and dogs, and wonder what's wrong with you? You're stupid.
Anyone else in the middle?
My name is Martha Sue Safford, and I'm here to talk about the roundabout. Can you hear me? The roundabout. I live in Hunter's Ridge. So I only have 4 things that I want to go over, and most of these are informational type things, so that we can get the information out to us and we can understand what's going on, because I feel like a lot of times that we don't really know everything about it. So my first one is that an education plan. If we're gonna go with a roundabout, which I am against, but if we're gonna go with one, there's gonna have to be some education to the public. I watch videos all morning trying to understand how to drive around a 2-lane roundabout. It's difficult to understand. And there's all these principles, like a yield principle and a right-of-way principle. I mean, the town of Florence, I mean, if you've been out driving in Florence, they're all speed demons. They just want to get somewhere really fast, and you can't do that on a roundabout. And there just has to be some type of way that, you know, for safety reasons, we're going to have to educate the public. Now, the second thing is that County Road 46. We've just grown so much on that road, and we've just outpaced everything, and that little road is a little two-lane road. Oh, I don't even know what the size of the roundabout's gonna be, probably one lane or possibly two, I don't know. But, you know, there's all kinds of studies that you've got to do, and we, the public, we don't understand what studies have been done and what are the results of those studies. Like, is the whole road gonna be paved? Is it gonna be 3-lane? How's it gonna come into the roundabout? Roundabouts have to have yield lanes, and you have to yield there until both lanes of traffic, if it's a 2-lane, till both lanes are clear, and then when you get the gap, you can enter it. I've watched videos, but I don't know all that myself, I just learned that today. But anyway, so what is the plan, and what is the radius of the roundabout gonna be? If the radius is great enough, it could take quite a bit of property. So Hunter's Ridge is over here, and we've got those brick walls that we've got put up, homeowners association, we paid to have all this done. So if all of that is taken out as part of the roundabout, who's gonna be responsible for replacing our beautiful entranceway? I mean, I hope the homeowners association is not gonna have to repay for that. Also, there's a man that lives across on the corner, I don't even know if he's aware of this plan, so have all the entities been notified, and are they aware of it? Next is the safety plan for our subdivision. If this roundabout goes in, we are landlocked. There's only one way in and one way out. So we would like to know what the exit plans are supposed to be for our neighborhood. Where are the exits gonna be? Because when you start construction, that's gonna be at least a year. And so we are landlocked. No way, anyway, unless you can build us a road through the cow field or let us go over into the church parking lot. I mean, there's not a way out. We can't be inconvenienced for a whole year. Think about this, if this was your subdivision. And all these nice homes, we spent so much money, you know, to buy a nice home and be in this nice, quiet little area. And now the only entrance that we can get in and out is gonna have construction done. I mean, what would y'all think? Do you want it to come to your area? I mean, we don't want it. All we asked for was for a traffic light when all of this started. And when we asked for the traffic light, it was so we could get out of the neighborhood. So I looked online to review articles on reasons why a roundabout, the decision for the roundabout should not be for the roundabout, but for the traffic light. And there were two things. One was a space constraint, which we have, and the other was an uneven flow of traffic.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Okay, uneven flow of traffic. So what that means is that we wanted the traffic light to get out of our subdivision. We have uneven flow of traffic. East and West is gonna take over. We can't still get out of our neighborhood, and the problem will be actually worse. So I want to see the feasibility study that was done, and the city has to have one. What is the feasibility? What was the reasoning behind putting a roundabout in versus a traffic light? Or just have nothing at all, and we just do as we happen right now. But we do not want to have for 1 year, construction in front of our neighborhood, and we want to hear, and we want the newspaper involved, and we want someone to come out to the neighborhood and show us the radius. We want to know how much is involved, and where this money's gonna come from, if you're gonna get it free, or you're just inconveniencing us just so because you've got money coming in free. And we would like the newspaper involved in it and education put out to everybody so they can understand what's going on.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the middle?
I got it, you don't have to remind me. I don't know if I'll make it 5 minutes. My name's Jared Colwell, and this fine young man is LJ Colwell. We live on Chisholm Road. I don't know, I know a few of y'all. Trent, Andy. My daddy told me, he used to have a euphemisms, something about a boar hog. I don't remember the rest of it. That comes to mind, but I take a lot of dope from my heart, so I don't remember. I went to speak to the police chief, went to speak to the mayor with limited results. I live on Chisholm. I have a problem with people running the school bus. Like I said, I went to talk to the police chief, I went to talk to both mayors, I've talked to Steve, and talked to Andy. My son is special needs. He is a busy young man, and he's got things to go do and see sometimes, and y'all probably see what I'm dealing with here. He tends to elope sometimes, and he rides a special needs school bus. It ain't a short one, but it's a regular one that's special needs. That might be inappropriate, but that's how I was always told when I was, the short bus when I was growing up, so. I used to post on the city Facebook and the city police department, and because they protesting BLM protesting the statue, I decided to shut off commenting on that. You can Google my name, or you can search for my name on those, you see about whenever I quit posting. So I made my own. And with that pothole page over at Publix, somebody posted in that, I caught a little traction. So I got quite an audience. I'm just old country boy, I never thought I'd have very many people watching stuff. I'm gonna keep posting stuff. I'm asking y'all, I don't know if any of y'all got grandkids, kids, of typical or special needs, but I don't know what it's gonna take to get, somebody gonna get hurt. If there's one of y'all's kids out there, y'all be mad as hell about it, the way I feel. And if you ain't, that says something about you as a grandparent or parent, but I'm concerned about the lack of action. And I'm gonna keep posting this. And there'll be an incident sometime, I hope not, but potentially, where a good lawyer will take one of those videos and the history of the city not doing any action and possibly sue the pants off of you. And if it happens, so, it needs to. I'm just asking for help and trying to get somebody to actually give a rip, come out there and put some, every time they bring an officer out, it's about, I think they've been out over the last 10 years, 11, 12 times, they wrote 6 or 7 tickets. So, and half of those times have been within the last month because of Miss Chapel. And most of those failures was, there just wasn't anybody running. It wasn't, and that's because it was clear. Where I'm at, it's either flood or famine. So I don't know what we can do to help solve any of this. Like I said, and this is, I've had a police officer, the Park and Rec's truck, the old one, right down the road. I live right above the farmer's market. Had it run. I got video of it. I've had 2 different city workers. I had the last one, I had his name, and the trucks are low jack. They could test. Steve Holt, he told who it was. He was gonna fire the guy, but he'd already put in his 2-week notice. He put a note in his file, he wasn't eligible for rehire. I brought information to Mr. Betterton. He didn't do anything about it. I went to HR. You go down that little incline in the city building. Feel like you're going in a cellar, and the gal, she was just, there ain't nothing I can do. The mayor has to tell me. So she's not a real effective HR. Any place I ever worked, they would hang you up. They'd call you on the carpet real quick and do something, So it's just, she's just a figurehead. She's working for the mayor, so I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna keep posting. I'm gonna keep documenting this. I got a bad ticker. But the biggest thing y'all can hope is I kick off one day in the driveway out there, video of the bus getting run by a car, so. About out of time. I appreciate y'all's time, and I hope nothing like this happens to y'all's family.
Anyone else in the middle?
Chapel King, you guys know I'm not gonna come and just sit here and be quiet. Nice to meet you, Mr. Hendricks. I come quite often, so you'll get to know me very well. I'm here tonight to talk about 2 things. One, I want to talk about the issue with the school bus. You've got people in suits, driving nice cars, driving excessive speeds when a school bus is stopped with the red flashing lights. This is a problem. We've got a problem when somebody has called for years and cannot get any help with this. Somebody has to create a Facebook page to get attention, to get help for their child. Something happens to this child, I'm gonna be very upset, because this is uncalled for. I've reached out to the mayor, I have spoken with the police chief, and yes, they have sent people out there a couple of times. I don't know what we need. Do we need billboards on every corner of every intersection in Florence, talking about how you're supposed to stop when the school bus has a red flashing light? I know it's confusing to a lot of people, but maybe a school bus sign that has a flashing light close to Mr. Colwell's house. I don't know what the answer is. I've actually done some research into this and I don't know. We've got to do something to fix this. And it bothers me too to see all these people on a daily basis running this, and then we're expected for people to know how to use a roundabout. I'm not gonna argue about this topic. I'm new to this topic. Just found out about it actually a couple of weeks ago, that there will be a roundabout put at Grisham Road. I've spoke with Mr. Oliver, I've spoke with Mr. Batson. I understand the people of Hunters Ridge have asked for a red light. They were turned down due to the study. There wasn't enough numbers of traffic to get a red light put in. I would like to see that study. I have spoke to Mr. Batson, and he said, yes, that roundabout will help the traffic coming on and off Grisham Road, but it will make it worse for the people of Hunters Ridge being able to get out into that roundabout. So I have talked with 3 other engineers and other departments, and they have told me this is not a state road. You do not have to go by the state code book, which I have sat all weekend and read the entire state code book on traffic, roundabouts, and red lights. I want to know what those numbers are. I just want to see that that is correct. When was that study done? Was it done years ago? Because now there's a whole lot more traffic on Grisham Road. I just want to know before this is done, built, started, I know the plans are starting to be designed by the company in Huntsville. I just want to know that this is correct, because I have sat up here with you guys before, with Mr. Graver here, you know, being told that we had a paramedic shortage, a national shortage. That's why we didn't have enough paramedics and enough ambulances. So I just want to make sure that this research is correct. If it is, I will be quiet, I will sit down. I know there's a lot of people that have said that they're for the roundabout. A lot of the people that have commented, even on Facebook posts, do not even live anywhere close to this area. A lot of people in Hunters Ridge wanted to be here tonight. They were unable to do so because of prior engagements, but I think there'll be a whole lot more to come. I don't want to see this get put in and then people battle this for years and years, coming up here constantly complaining about something that we could have stopped, changed, or prevented before we started. So I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the middle?
I wasn't gonna get up here, but since the roundabout thing is at the entrance to my subdivision, I own a bass boat. There's several people in our neighborhood that own bass boats. Bill, you know how it is, and I can only imagine how hard it's gonna be to get in and out of my neighborhood pulling a boat. It's gonna be dangerous. I also have a teenage son that is not a good driver. He still lives at home. I guess a lot of people can identify with that, and I have a real concern about him getting injured at this thing. I'd rather see a stop sign there. At least people in Alabama know what a stop sign is. Most of them have no clue what a roundabout is or how to use it. If you don't believe me, go over to Chick-fil-A sometime and just see what happens there. I can't tell you how many times I've almost been hit by people. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else in the middle? To my left, anyone would like to?
Brenham. I'm here to bring to attention to the city of Florence, Alabama, and to its council, the genocide happening in Gaza at the hands of not only Israel, but the United States of America. 41,252 Palestinians. That's a big number. That's a large number. That's the number that the Gaza Ministry of Health says has been killed by Israel since October 7th. Now, that's the number that we've been reported. The Lancet has done a study saying that number could be upwards of 186,000 Palestinians. Of that original number, 41,252 people, at least 16,500 children have been killed. Now think about what that number could be if the number is 186,000 Palestinians. If my friend could hold up her sign here that says how much the Florence sends to Israel a year, $615,638 annually in the form of taxes. Now that number may be nothing compared to the $3.8 billion that the U.S. sends in military aid to Israel every single year. And that's before October 7th. So recently, the U.S. Senate passed a bill allowing $20 billion to be sent to Israel. Every single morning, I open my phone and I see videos of Palestinian children with their limbs blown apart with U.S.-made weapons, documented U.S.-made weapons. Israel bombs schools. They bomb hospitals. These are war crimes. And the U.S. is just standing aside and letting it happen. Not only just letting it happen, being complicit in it. I'm here to demand that we pressure our politicians, our elected officials, to divest from this genocide, because it's not okay. Innocent people. The Nusayrat camp bombed for over 2 hours to save 2 hostages. We want to talk about hostages? 9,950 Palestinians held in Israeli detention camps, 3,400 of which are held on 0 charges. This is not okay. It's not okay for... Israel has 12,000 hostages, not 12,000, rather sorry, I'm not good at public speaking. 1,200 hostages that were abducted on October 7th. That's a big number. However, Israel has been oppressing Palestine since 1948, militaristically. Before then, yes, of course, but the Nakba was in 1948. That's what I'm addressing, but my friend here is correct. Since before then, with the help of the British Empire at that time period. 1948 is when the British Mandate ended, and that is when Israel took over Palestine militaristically and started encroaching upon their land. This is not okay. This is not something that I, as a citizen of Florence, Alabama, as a citizen of the United States, Alabama, am content to just stand aside and let happen any longer. It's not okay. And I demand that we divest from this genocide. In the same time in camp, within, I believe it was the past month, it might have been the month before that, a man was on camera being raped by Israeli soldiers. Now, what did our news outlets say about this? We need more evidence. We need more evidence even though there's video footage of him being raped. And yet the only thing that I see when I look at my phone every day is talking about the baseless claims that Hamas raped Israeli people on October 7th. Baseless claims that have been disproven. You know what has been proven? Israel raping Palestinians, killing them, raping them. I open my phone and I see that Hind Rajab was gunned down in her car with her family. And then
1 minute remaining.
Then the ambulance sent her retrieve her as she lay in the backseat of her car bleeding out, bombed by Israel. This is not okay and I do not support it. I demand that we stop sending this $615,638 a year to Israel. I demand that we stop it because those are my tax dollars. These are these people's tax dollars. And I believe that we would rather them be used to maybe fix our roads, build more housing for homeless people, rather than bombing children. And while I have time left, I would love to commend my man right here. America does not care about black and brown bodies, and this is evidence of that, okay? If you look at the way the news articles describe Palestinians, they describe them as monsters, less than human. That's something that America has historically done to black people for generations. And they've been doing it to Palestinians for a long time too. I demand that we stop this. Thank you.
Your time is up.
Thank you. Do you mind giving your name and address, please?
Sorry?
Do you mind giving your information to the clerk, please?
Yes.
Your name.
Absolutely.
Is there anyone else in the middle? I'm sorry, to my left that needs to want to speak?
Absolutely.
Hello.
You'll give your information to the clerk. You can do it publicly from the
Gotcha.
platform.
Hello, I'm Tyler Rollins. I'm a resident of Florence. I go to UNA, and if you don't know what I'm already going to talk about, that's surprising. I'm glad to know that we're getting heard. Terrible at public speaking, so kind of blank my mind. But like he said, or like they said, since 1948, the Nakba, it's killed countless Palestinians. And I would love to see Florence do something similar to what Portland did in a couple months ago, where they divested from corporations and businesses who were operating in Portland, who invested in Israel and Israeli war crimes. I mean, I don't know how we would go about that. I'm not very good at that sort of stuff, but I would love to see some cooperation between council members and possibly other people like Project Say Something or other people in the community. But yes, I would just love to see Florence divest from Israel. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Tyler?
Hi, my name is Victoria Bullion. I am a resident of Florence and a student at UNA. I just want to put it into perspective for people. I mean, you really have to think about, you want to complain about, $3 eggs. Trust me, I complain about $3 eggs. And I know everyone's sitting around here thinking about what they're having for dinner tonight. But you also see on Facebook about how people say, Trump's America, Kamala's America, both of them post-apocalyptic situations, but we're thinking about it. While people in Palestine are experiencing it. They are being bombed. There are women and children who are going out to provide for their family. They come back 15 minutes later, the whole building's wiped out. And you know how smart American war technology is. It can do surgical machinery where it can take out one floor of a building. If they're truly concerned about taking out Hamas, they have the power to do it. And yet they choose instead to drop dumb bombs, just blow out the whole building. In fact, they have multiple AI that they use to see how many children are in the building, how many women are in the building, how many men are in the building, and they do it at night because they know that's when everyone is home. Look up Lavender AI on your phone and you will find out that they are using AI, the stuff that we are scared about ourselves and don't know, it's not predictable. They're using it and they're killing women and children and people like me. There's people out there, you love to be up here. I'm sure you love your job. There's no jobs in Palestine now. There's nothing in Palestine. There's no children with dreams. There's no women with dreams, no men with dreams. And we are giving our money. You want to talk about the parking deck and everything that we're investing in? We're paying for it. You want to talk about everything that we're paying for? We're also paying for a war. And we're paying for a war that we're not invested in. More than one war. We want to cry and sit here and complain about Ukraine, and we don't want to say what's the quiet part. They're white. We say pray for Ukraine because they're white women and children. We don't say free Palestine because it's not happening to us, and it's brown women and children. Thank you.
Thank you. If not, at this time, we will have council member reports, starting with Councilman Hendricks.
Well, first I'd like to thank everyone that came out in attendance tonight. I see a lot of young folks out. Also to those that are watching at home, those that did both tonight, Mr. White. First thing I'd like to address is the school bus situation. I would suspect this is a statewide problem as well. And I know when I travel to other states, if you don't pay a toll, a camera takes the picture of your tag and you receive a ticket in the mail. And I don't know why our school buses couldn't do that. And so the commitment I'm going to make to you is that I will talk to our legislators about that, find out if it's legal that we can do that. I wouldn't want to see that as an unfunded mandate by the state, but maybe it's a discussion that they need to have in Montgomery, and I'll try to start that conversation if it hasn't started already. that's my commitment to you tonight. I'd like to congratulate President Simmons for her recognition next Thursday night. I also have to remind everyone that on that same night, the Florence High School homecoming parade has been rescheduled. I plan to do both. I think the mayor plans to do both. We're going to do the parade and rush to get to the facility to also be there with you, so I want you to know that. Got a couple of departments that I would like to thank tonight. Justin Mason with the building department has been working with me on some properties that are neglected over on Creekside Drive and also some properties over on Ridgeway. He's gotten the letters out, getting ready to take action. I appreciate everything that he's done there. I'd also like to thank the engineering department. Got a drainage issue over in Heritage Village that they're working on and we've made some progress on, so I appreciate our department heads for that. Last thing I'd like to do is remind everyone that Trail of Tears is this weekend. There'll be a lot of motorcycles in the community. Please be mindful. We've seen several accidents this year, and let's try not to see any more this weekend. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Councilman Hendricks. Councilman Griffin.
Thank you, Madam. Actually, Ms. Simmons handled this a few days ago. We both saw it on Facebook, and she called Bill Jordan, and it was handled immediately the next day. There was a railing that was torn out of over the river at McFarland, and people took pictures of it with their phones and posted a lot about it. But if just one of those people had taken the phone that they used to make an unkind remark and would have called the city, it would have been fixed quicker. I appreciate Mr. Jordan doing it immediately. I think she got information about 7 p.m. I probably got it at 7:30. And before I could do anything, she had already taken care of it, and Mr. Jordan was ready to take care of it. So I appreciate the Parks Department taking care of it. Please, if you see something that's wrong, I'm going to give you my phone number. Call me if you can't call anybody else. Let's not complain about it. Let's fix it. I was going to mention the Trail of Tears Saturday. There's going to be a busy time here. If you need something to do, go to Waterloo. It's interesting. We have several city events coming up in the next few weeks. We have a Facebook page. Hopefully we're soon going to have a website that will also have postings for announcements that need to be made. And so check the Facebook page. And if you don't have that, call 256-335-6575 and I will answer the phone and get you the information and call you back. Thank you for trusting me enough to serve in this position. I love it.
Thank you. Councilman Eubanks.
Councilwoman. I thought you said ma'am.
No, I said councilwoman.
I was like, wait a second.
Might have been fast, but I said councilwoman.
I wanted to share tonight for the folks with Lauderdale Lanes, Mr. Griffin is your council member. And I'm not sure how we would go about that, but he was very kind to give you his phone number. I would reach out to him and talk to him about that. I honestly don't know what it would take to get that ordinance changed. I know the city has a lounge aspect to that, but I don't know what would be involved with the bowling alley. So before we can do anything, he's a good resource for you to start that conversation. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Appreciate it very much. And then Mr. Caldwell, I appreciate you sharing your story today. I did not know this. I'm not on social media at all. I find it is a dangerous, it's not a safe place for me, and I'm world suicide prevention, it's not a good boundary for me. So I'm glad you said what you said, and I appreciate the fact that you've come here and you've talked with LJ, your son. And I want to make sure that I understood, you're saying that the cars are city vehicles and other vehicles and they're going around the buses when they're stopped, correct?
It's mostly the public, but there's been one police officer over the years and 2 city officials, 2 city workers.
Okay, I was taking notes while you were talking and I wanted to make sure and get clarity, so thank you for sharing that. And I feel certain that Mr. Hendricks will represent what he said and do that on your behalf. But I will also encourage you, as Mr. Griffin too, I'm sorry, you're a broken record over there. He is our chair of our Public Safety Committee, and that might be another opportunity for us to have this in committee. Ms. Simmons is on that committee with me and Mr. Griffin, so that might be another avenue once Mr. Hendricks learns more. So just some thoughts for you to manage that issue.
I brought up the cameras. I even had the information to the old police chief. I know they just had to switch into the guard, as well as both mayors, and nobody seemed really, no, I don't want to hear that. We can't have that, you know, that put a stop to it real quick, like.
Well, I appreciate it, but I do want to make you aware that there are other folks on here who are hearing your concern for the first time. So I appreciate it, and I'm sure Mr. Griffin will help us call a meeting if one is needed. He's very good about that, so we'll work through that. Speaking of the Florence Police Department, they have recently launched their app, which is very good. So if you have a smartphone and you want to download it, that might be another avenue for you to take to get some more of that information shared or to report those things that way. So there's another option for you. You know, last week's rains were very needed. We were in a very serious drought. But in District 4, we have a lot of very overgrown neighborhoods as far as big trees. They're very well established. And so we had some damage. We had some homeowners who had big limbs down and even a tree on a home. And so I appreciate the work of the utility department to get the power back up. I appreciate the work of the street department to get the streets cleared and the limbs cleared. That's hard work and it's dangerous work, and I'm very thankful that they were there doing the work of the city and its residents. Speaking of the street department, they've also been very helpful now that the rain has cleared to get some of the overgrown easements in District 4 that were that had grown now that the rain has come, and to get those cleared up to get rid of some of the water that's been standing on the street. That helps also alleviate some of the issues we have with mosquitoes and other things. And then finally, I wanted to let the council know that as a member of the Town and Gown Task Force, the group is working to highlight businesses across the community and each of the districts that are owned and operated by the University of North, that are owned and operated by UNA alums. And a Google form is going to be going out to business owners, asking people to complete it. And as we approach Small Business Saturday on November 30th, we are going to encourage folks to shop small throughout each of the districts in the city. But that will also allow us to have a very much needed database of people who live and were educated here and who now own and operate businesses here, because we're very grateful for what they're doing. Something that didn't get mentioned prior to now is that Martha Murphy, who was here earlier and referenced in our work session, this was her last council meeting. And she quietly went about doing her job, and she did a great job, as she always does. And I am thanking her publicly for her service, because it's truly an end of an era to see her retired from that role. Her last day is September the 30th, which will be in less than 2 weeks. And
She has one more meeting.
oh, she told me she had none.
I just talked to her before I came up.
Okay, she told me she had none.
She-
So it's still an end of an era, in my opinion, to have her move along and go into her retirement years. So I wanted to sincerely thank her for all of her work, and I appreciate everything she's done for me as a council member and for this city. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Edwards.
I'll be very brief. I did want to thank you for bringing the school bus problem to our attention. School bus safety is of the utmost importance. It would be terrible for just one accident because some idiot goes past the school bus when it stopped. And I appreciate Mr. Hendricks followed up on that. Thank you for doing that. And Ms. Saffer, I appreciate you being here tonight. I'm at the roundabout. I know there's a lot of questions that a lot of people have, and we had some answered tonight. I know Councilman Oliver had some questions that he posed and got some answers from that from our engineer. So thank you for being here and expressing y'all's concerns on that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Oliver.
Thank you. Councilman Hendricks has a great idea with the potential use of a camera monitoring those school buses. I know we have so many areas where school buses stop. you couldn't do them in every single area, but certainly on a busy road like that, certainly needs something there, and that would be, I hope you do follow up on that, and I'll be glad to help any way I can with that as well. I know that's out of my district there, but it doesn't matter. That's a matter that really needs addressed, and so I think that's something good to look into. As Mr. Edwards mentioned, I don't know, were y'all here when Mr. Batson spoke? I didn't know if you were or not. He answered a lot of those questions that you both brought to us tonight. And I guess in my 4 years now, is it what we've been? Okay, 4 years. I have had more meetings about this particular topic with engineering than anything else that we have done. And it has been shared with us, as Mr. Batson did tonight, the reasons why a traffic light is not an option there. And he told us that they go by the MUTCD. What is that? I'm going to tell you because I wanted to make sure. It's the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. And it's updated, I think, yearly to make sure that the public is safe, the roads are safe. That's what they use. And I do have some of the latest traffic numbers here from that road. The last one I had, I've got 2017 and I've got 2023 last year. They had a traffic count there, and I do believe they're getting ready to do another one. But he explained to us tonight at length why the roundabout had to go there and not a traffic light, because it just did not meet the criteria of this standard that they go by. Again, this is what the engineer shared with us tonight, and also shared with us that it wasn't all about the Hunter's Ridge entrance and the exit there. It was about the entire corridor that they were using they were making their decision to go with a roundabout about. He also addressed tonight about the roundabout as far as, I know you mentioned 2 lanes. It's going to be a 1-lane roundabout, not a 2-lane. It will be plenty wide enough for our biggest fire truck or a tractor trailer truck to get around, as he alluded to tonight. So if you can't get that boat around it, you let us know and we'll make it bigger. But we got to get that boat around it, all right? We'll figure out how to do that. But he did put our minds at ease, because these were questions that were asked this week that as I said tonight, did I miss a meeting somewhere and something changed? Well, apparently it didn't. And he kind of calmed my fears tonight about that. I hate y'all weren't here when he spoke tonight. But as I've done in the past, I would encourage you to reach out to Mr. Batson. I know Chapel, Ms. King, you have. And, continue to reach out to him. I know that I've been to him yearly saying the people would like to have a traffic light, But then he repeatedly explained to me why a traffic light couldn't go there, or a 4-way stop, that this was the option that had been recommended by these same people. They're using them nationwide now and getting the results that they need. It does slow traffic down, and it does eliminate any type of high-speed accident. Yep, there could be accidents, but the good thing about them, they're at low speed. I'm talking 5 miles per hour, because you really got to slow down. There will be yield signs. I think you asked about that. He had told me that the roundabouts would have yield signs similar to the one in East Florence. So I know it's not what some of the people want over there. I've heard from people in Hunter's Ridge this week who have called me or texted me and said, look, I love roundabouts, I like them. I've had people call and go, don't want a roundabout. I hope that the traffic situation is calm there and solves whatever happens. So we'll hope for the best there. But thanks to everyone who came out tonight. Appreciate everyone coming to our meeting. And with that, I have nothing else.
Thank you very much. I just want to say thanks to everyone for coming and sharing your thoughts and letting us know your concerns. I want to say thank you to the mayor, thank you to the council for your congrats on my, being the recipient of the Clyde Anderson Award that is hosted by United Way. Jared, you have been dealing with this issue for many years, that is in District 1, and I've been aware of it. You've been talking to the two mayors, you talked to both police chiefs. I don't know what else to tell you to do, but I hope that Councilman Hendricks will be able to, when we talk to the legislator, that he'll be able to find some solutions to try to help ease the burden of that situation before someone's getting hurt. I know LJ and been known for quite some time, so I understand your situation and problem. And in regards to Councilman Eubanks talked about the spotlight of the town of Gaylord. That's something I have been doing started doing within my district, all the small businesses. I'm doing them one by one, spotlighting their businesses. And it has been getting lots of visibility and lots of traction and lots of shares. So I'm hoping that that's gonna help those businesses with their economic growth. And I want to say thank you to everyone. I've hosted 2 community meetings for the past 2 Mondays. Thank you to all the citizens, thank you to the department heads, mayor, councilman, everybody that has showed up to come and hear the concerns about what is going on and is about to go on in District 1. So I just want to say thank you for that. Reverend Simpson, thank you in regards to the bridge project. It's been long overdue, and we will keep pushing forward, keep trying to move that needle until we totally get it threaded and sewn up to seal the deal with that. That bridge is needed. And so we're gonna keep working towards the goals of it. And if that's all I have, Mayor, do you have anything? If not, we'll have a closing prayer by Councilman Griffin.
Let us pray. Father, I thank you for your love. Lord, I thank you for your patience, especially with me. Lord, help me to turn my eyes upon you more often. Thank you for my family. Lord, thank you for this city that we have, that I've fallen in love with. Lord, continue to bless us. Give us safety as we go home tonight. These things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.